Hi, my name is Julien. I'm the founder of the first online tennis academy. I've been coaching for more than 20 years, ATP, WTA, and top junior player around the world. And today, I'm going to teach you the basics of tennis. Let's start. Okay, in this episode, we're going to start by the forehand. We're going to start from scratch, from zero. If you never ended the racket, if you never touch a racket in your life, or if you already play with friends, but your technique and your mechanics are completely wild, and you want to align everything and to have a basic of it, this is what we're going to do. So first of all, the most important thing is to understand that what will stabilize most of the shot is the contact point, is how do you stabilize the contact point. If at the contact point, and I see a lot of beginners going like this with the wrist, and the ball is going all the time left. So this is very important to understand that what will stabilize your stroke is the contact point and the wrist at the contact point. So what you will do at the contact point with your wrist will decide if your stroke is going to be solid or stable, or it's going to be completely out of control. So one more time, I'm going to show you. Most of the players playing tennis, they have this kind of stroke where the wrist is moving completely left, and they are breaking the wrist. And what will happen is you will completely lose the control. Of course, there is the body weight that will go this way, and you will lose completely the sense of how to really control the ball. So first thing is like learning how to stabilize the grip, the wrist. So how do you stabilize the wrist? The wrist should work in this direction. It has to be very stable. So if there is this kind of motion, so yes, on advanced tennis, you can learn how to really loosen up the wrist into the stroke. But today we are learning from scratch. From scratch, the best way to learn it is to learn the contact point and to learn how to be at the contact point very stable. So what we want, so for sure that you heard the brushing, but we're going to brush and press. So we're going to learn how to really feel this and to be very stabilized. You see my wrist doesn't move at all and is very stable. So the first thing what you have to do is when you hit the ball, really slow and to pay attention that the wrist is going in a straight motion this way, you see? So what you want to imagine that there is, let's say, the line, and my racket is going to go all the way to the line, you see? And I'm trying to stay as long as I can with the line without pulling left. So what will happen, most of the players, they go and they pull completely left, and this is where you lose the control. So the first thing that you must understand when you start playing tennis is you have to control the wrist totally. If you control your wrist, then you will see you will get a lot of control and also confident on how to direct also the ball. So after when you control the wrist pretty well, then you can direct the ball cross court if you want, or if you want to go down the line or inside out, but you always have to keep this motion very, very stable. So what we want to do, we don't want to brush the ball this way. If not, the ball will drop down, and that's what happens when you start learning topspin, is that you're already going too much of brushing and you cover the ball on the top of the ball. So what we must learn is to come at the bottom of the ball. So we start the motion at the bottom of the ball, but we don't keep the racket open this way, because if not, the racket is going to go up. What we want to do, we're going to try to press and brush. So we come the bottom of the ball, and then we start to go straight line. We want the ball to really be at the straight line. So one more time. Ball, bottom of the ball. And I try, as I say before, I try to stay straight like this. I'm trying really to keep the racket completely straight. If I'm on the line and I'm on this direction. So I've really stabilized my wrist. So this is the most important part, especially when you're starting for the first time. You want to stabilize your wrist. Don't run into the backswing, into the follow through until your wrist is not stable. So first of all, we stabilize the wrist. After you feel confident and you feel that your wrist now is stabilized, what you want to do? You want to learn the follow through. How are we going to learn the follow through? Same way. We're using this line and we try to keep the ball as long as possible and to straight. So now what I want to do, and what is very important to understand, finishing on the top of over the shoulder, it's important and it's good in tennis. But when you start playing tennis, you have to understand the steps. First of all, if the wrist is going wrong and then you go over the shoulder and you don't understand why you completely lose the control, is because the wrist is bringing the racket on the top of the shoulder, and you lose completely the confidence and you lose completely the motion. So what you want to do, you want to learn how to follow through. So the follow through stop in front of you. You want to go and grab the racket in front of you. You don't want to go left. You want to keep your body and you keep your arm on the right side of the body, and you don't want to cross left. Especially when you start playing tennis, you don't want to cross left. You want, first of all, to learn the full motion and the full follow through. This way, you see? I'm trying to keep my arm as long as I can on the right side, and I'm not pulling left at all. I'm trying to really keep it straight like this. And even if I stop here, it's better than to stop too much there if you're starting playing tennis. So we want to keep and to stay on the right side of my body. You see? Hop. And then I'm getting a long follow through, and I'm using my arm without pulling left. One more. Hop, and I strike. After you control and you have this full follow through because the ball is going out of the racket around this area. So this part, it's good, but it's not for the follow through. It's for different aspect of the game. So right now we're not gonna get into this because we are just learning the basics. So two things most important. First of all, to stabilize the wrist. And second of all, to keep your arm as straight as you can in this direction. So we learn to keep the ball as long as possible on the racket, and then the ball is already out, so there is no reason to pull left for the moment. So one more time. Racket in here, straight, and I keep my arm as long as I can in front of me. Now, the next step will be to catch the left arm, to catch your right arm in the left arm. Why? To get balance and stabilize your stroke. If you start playing like this without using your non-dominant arm, you will never understand the stability that you need in tennis to control the ball. So now we do exactly the same. First of all, wrist stable, catching in front of me, and I grab with my left hand the racket. And I'm getting used to every shot grabbing my arm in my left hand. Most of the player, when they practice, they catch the arm. And when you see them in matches, they will just drop. And not because they don't want to catch, it's because of the speed of the game. So when you start hitting very fast, the left arm cannot handle the speed, so it has no time to catch the left arm. But you will see them, they will practice always, they will catch, because it's very important to stabilize the body. So hop and get. So one more. Go. Hop, and I catch my left arm, and I keep my left arm still. I'm trying to stay there for 1-2 seconds, so I really take the time to understand the motion and the follow through. 1, 2, and I relax. Stabilize the wrist. 1, 2, and I relax. Stabilize the wrist. 1, 2, and I relax. And very important, when you focus, always try to hit the bottom of the ball. Why? Because the first opponent that you have on the court is the net. If the ball doesn't go over the net, you lose way before, then your opponent is going to make a point on you. So the first thing that you have to understand is you must go through the net. So how we go through the net? Simple. Bottom of the ball, hop, straight line. So if I go bottom of the ball and my wrist is floppy, it's going to look something like this. But if I did the first exercise correctly and I'm going in a straight line, like on the net, this way, then with a press, because we don't want to brush, as I say, we don't want the racket to fall like this. We want to press, to have this pressure, to have the pressure at the contact point, so we get this, hop, this friction, and not sliding the ball. So if you do this, then you come under the ball, you hit the bottom, it will get even more topspin, a little bit of topspin, and then you'll get this shape to put the ball into the court. So these 3 steps are very important to learn the follow through, to stabilize with the left arm, and to come under the ball, okay? Now let's talk about the backswing. We're gonna make something very simple. Very, very simple, that's gonna clear a lot of your doubts. So what we're gonna use this analogy to create the backswing. So we're gonna imagine that this is a mirror, and I always want that the face of the mirror will watch the ball. I don't want in a moment that the ball and the racket get disconnected. What I want the racket to be in front and go. So don't try to think about loop. Don't try to think about from up to down, from down to up. It doesn't really matter for the moment. What is very important is to keep the stability of the arm. So I'm not telling you to be stiff. I'm just telling you to imagine that this is a mirror. This part is a mirror, and I always want the mirror to watch the ball. And if I'm creating a loop and it's comfortable for me to create a loop, I will do this way. If it's comfortable for me to go straight, I will do this way. But this is less important. The three first steps are way more important than this part. Okay? So what is very important for me is two things. One, the mirror, and second thing, don't separate the arm too soon. This is a big mistake that a lot of players do, because when they start, they tell him prepare and be ready, all that. This is not right. You don't learn tennis by preparing the arm 1 hour before. The only thing you do, you keep the racket in front and you stabilize. But if you start by learning your backswing before you the three steps that we learned, and you still doesn't have control about your contact point, about the follow through, about catching the left arm, then for sure, if you start using the backswing, you're gonna lose yourself somewhere. So very important, take your time, don't do it 1 or 2 days. Take a time that you really start controlling, and if you don't need to don't play with backswing, don't play with the backswing in the beginning, just practice hours how to control this part. Because if you control this part, 80% of the job has been done, okay? And you'll see with the time, when you start controlling this part, when automatically you want to accelerate the power, automatically you will take your racket back and you will find your own backswing by your own, and it will be very natural. So don't focus too much on what's happening behind, focus more on what is happening in front of you, especially when you just start playing tennis. So this is my advice. When you start playing tennis, the focus should be, one more time, a little recap, stabilize the wrist, learning the follow through and doesn't cross left until you don't control the full follow through, and also stabilize with the left arm. With the time, you're gonna take more power from behind, and then you will have a full stroke. And if you decide to go for a backswing, imagine that this is a mirror and try to keep the racket facing the ball all the time, that the mirror is watching the ball, so you don't get lost too much behind your body and everything. Hope you enjoyed the video, and now you will be able to start correctly how to learn the game. Next episode will be about the backhand. Hope to see you soon. If you want to work with me one-on-one, I have my own online tennis academy. You can find me on Instagram, Olivari Tennis, or my own community, Olivari Tennis on school. Hope to see you soon. Let's go.